Morning, peeps. Good morning, everyone. All right, let's move away from Fury White for a few minutes. I mean, there is other stuff going on in the boxing world. I think the big news in the last 24 hours is that MTK will cease operations. There'll be no more MTK. Obviously, this Daniel Kinahan situation is starting to have ramifications to a lot of people when it comes to the boxing world. You kind of wonder what's going to happen with Probellum. Probellum, I read the other day, have lost their deal with Eurosport. I think obviously their shows were being shown live on Eurosport. That won't happen anymore. There's a lot going on, and I think there's going to be more. I don't think this is the end of it. I do feel like people will lose their jobs. People will disappear from the boxing world. So I think a lot's going to happen. Some people have asked me for my take on it, and look, you know, the thing is, I've always I've been asked to do some stuff for Probellum. I've been asked to do some stuff for MTK in the past as well, and I've always been a bit like, nah, just because of that affiliation, just because I don't fully want that connection. I don't. And that's not a slight on people that have worked and do work. I've got a lot of friends that work for both companies. So it's not a slight on them, but I've always been like, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And in the end, I think it was the right decision not to do anything. But look, we'll see. There'll be a lot of fighters on the market now. There's so many fighters that MTK or signed management deals with MTK. Those fighters will be looking for new broadcasters, maybe new management companies, new promoters. So there's some hot talent that will be free agents very, very soon. So it'll be interesting to see where those fighters lie. I'm thinking of fighters like Sonny Edwards, because I genuinely believe that Probellum might have a problem as well. Probellum's going to have a problem, and there's fighters like Sonny Edwards that are on Probellum. So we'll see what happens there. A fight I did want to talk about that I think will be made in the summer is Chris Eubank Jr. versus Kell Brook. Like, I'm pretty confident now that that fight will be made. My wish was for it to be Kell Brook versus Conor Benn, because I think that's a more fair fight. And I'm more thinking about the weight. I think Conor Benn will happily fight at 150. I think 150 is very good for Kell Brook as well. This one, we were told, I think a couple of weeks ago, that a weight has been agreed. I think Ben Shalom mentioned it. And I think that weight will probably be around 157, 158. So obviously that's Eubank coming down from his 160 class, and Kell Brook, who's obviously fought at 160 before, but obviously last fight against Amir Khan was lower. So maybe that's a fair weight for both. But look, I don't know. It's a big fight for Sky, and you can understand why Chris Eubank wants it. Again, you look at the risk reward. The risk for Chris Eubank, yeah, I mean, Kell Brook's a better boxer than him, but you know, Eubank's the bigger guy. He's the bigger guy. I know Kell Brook probably walks around bigger, but that's fat. Eubank is the naturally bigger guy, and the reward is it will be on pay-per-view, and it will make a lot of money. It'll make a lot of money. So you compare it to the other 160 guys out there that he could fight. They're dangerous for Chris, very dangerous, and they maybe don't bring in the same sort of pounds and pence. Kell Brook, who, look, it's difficult to judge how good Kell Brook is, or it's hard to judge how good Kell Brook is because he beat Amir Khan, who's done. So Chris Eubank Jr. probably thinking, this ain't going to be tough work. So for Chris, I understand it. For Kell, it baffles me a little bit. Look, I would love to know what, and I heard that Sky are paying big money right now, but I'd love to know what Sky are offering for him to fight Chris, as opposed to what DAZN are offering to face Conor. Clearly, I'm guessing Sky are offering more, and I'm guessing they think it'll be doing good pay-per-view numbers as well. I saw they both said something on social media recently. Let me see if I can find it, which makes me feel like the fight's even closer to happening. I think Kell Brook said something. Oh, sorry, Kell Brook said something on Talk Sport. Let's quickly see if I can get it. Yeah, this is what Kell Brook said. This was April 14th. All I have to do to beat Chris Eubank Jr. is turn up. Just get me in the ring and I'll beat him. I've boxed all my life. He can't box, in my opinion. Yeah, I still think Chris isn't the best boxer. I agree with what Kell's saying there. And Chris Eubank responded. I'm just trying to find what Chris Eubank said in response to it. Sorry, peeps, I should have had all this out. This is what Chris Eubank said a few days later. Listen, we can box, we can brawl, we can dance, we can stand toe-to-toe and just swing for the fences and see who's left. Anyway, you want to turn up and do it, I got you covered. So that fight's going to happen. That fight is, I'd say, 95% done. In fact, I think that fight's going to happen in the summer. Again, if you're Sky, it's a big pay-per-view fight. I don't want to say I'm disappointed in Chris, because again, I get what he's doing, but there are so many good names at 160 that he could fight, so many, and he clearly, at this stage of his career, I no longer think he's chasing a world title. I no longer, and I think, when it's all said and done, if he were to retire and not get a world title, he might be disappointed. But look, his faculties are all in place. He's clearly making some good money, and maybe he just thinks, let me just get past Kell. Let me get this fight done, and then we'll move on to bigger things. I think he thinks Kell's easy work. And you would have to favour Chris heavily. Maybe 80-20, I'd favour Chris. Kell's a good boxer, but there's nothing left in Kell. There's an argument that Kell maybe should have retired after the high of beating Amir Khan, but he will continue. All right, what else is there to talk about? Let's see. Canelo here. I don't care about the fight with Golovkin. That fight will be for the people. Okay. I still want to see that fight. A lot of people are, after the Golovkin beat Murata, were like, I don't want to see it. Well, I want to. I still want to see Canelo versus Golovkin. I mean, there are other good names out there at 168 or 175. People screaming Beterbiev. I still wouldn't mind Golovkin getting paid. Don't mind it at all. And I think Golovkin will do well. Look, yeah, clearly you favour Canelo, but I think Golovkin will do well for a few rounds. It's strange. You know what's strange about that Golovkin performance? So Golovkin, and hear me out here, please, before everyone jumps on me. So Golovkin went to Japan, and he hasn't fought for, I don't know, a year and a half, Golovkin. It's been a long time. He went to Japan, someone's backyard, a fellow world champion, and got hurt a couple of times, right? But in the end, found a way to win, got the stoppage. Everyone at the end of that performance is like, he's done, retire. And look, maybe there's a case of he's 40 and that's what everyone's thinking in their head. Errol Spence done exactly the same thing. So had a long layoff, fought a world champion. By the way, almost around the same age, Ugas and Murata, not much difference in age. So Errol Spence had a good performance, right? Got hurt, am I right? Got hurt, found a way to win. And everyone's like, oh, he's amazing, applauding him. And look, I am as well. I'm applauding Errol. I think Errol's amazing. But it's weird how both fighters got hurt. We clearly saw that. Maybe Golovkin got a bit more hurt to the body. It was clear to see. But Errol got hurt as well in that fight. Both find a way to win. But in the aftermath of both performances, one's like, nah, he should call it quits. He's done. And one's like, oh, can't wait to see the Crawford fight. It's weird how we think as fans. Maybe it's because Golovkin is 40. That's our view on it. But their performances and the way in which they both found a way to win and turned up are exactly the same. They fought world champions. They both of them were out of the ring for a long time. Ugas is 34. I think Murata's 36. But we're viewing one performance different from the other. Maybe it's the case of because Golovkin's got Canelo next, and we're like, oh, he's going to die. I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, that was a bit of hyperbole, but you know what I mean. I don't know. But I think we're looking at them differently, and I think they're quite similar. That's what I think, anyway. A bit here on Devin Haney. I feel like if we would fight 10 times in Australia, I would beat Kambosos 10 times. No, you wouldn't. He wouldn't. Frank Yard here talking about Anthony Yard. Sorry, Frank Yard. And Frank Warren talking about Anthony Yard potentially facing the winner of Beterbiev Smith. No, come on. Like, I'm a big fan of Yard. Big fan of Tunde's. I am. I thought Yard's performance against Lyndon Arthur was really good. You don't go from that, you don't go from facing Lyndon Arthur, which was a get back because you lost to him, to then facing the winner of Beterbiev Smith. So you're going from Lyndon Arthur to basically facing the best 175 pounder on the planet. And that's what the winner of that would be. No, I don't know about that. I don't know. This is interesting. I wonder if any of these have got Ghanaian heritage, because I find it quite strange. Tevin Farmer versus Mickey Bay. They're fighting May 21st in Ghana. I think they'll fight at the Bukom Boxing Arena. I've been there, actually commentated there a couple of times. Really it's almost like their version of York Hall. It's the arena. It's got like Azuma Nelson there. It's got Ike Quartey. They're really sort of, it's got everything when you think of Ghanaian heritage. But it's very strange for Tevin Farmer and Mickey Bay to be fighting there. But look, good luck to both. All right, guys and girls, we are done. Peace and love.